Call Jeff now at 503-589-1220. That's 503-589-1220. Let's return now to more of Political Coffee with Jeff Krupp.
Okay, folks, I'm back. Great to be with you. You got to love it when you can't work the buttons right. Anyway, folks, thanks for joining us. In a moment, we're going to chat with my friend Scott Roeder about why he thinks the leadership of the Oregon Republican Party ought to resign. I want to tell you, friends, it is going to be a really hot day today. Back in the mid-'90s, I think it's if your air conditioning is not working, you just fix it. And nobody better to do that than Freedom Heating and Air. Great Salem company, local. They've been here a long time, almost 50 years. And they've survived the good times, the bad times, because they take care of their customers. They have discounts for veterans and seniors, but more importantly, if your air conditioning is not working right, the old heat pump is just not doing it for you, they can come out and fix it, and right away. So go to their website, freedomheatingandair.net. Check it out. You can contact them. They'll come and help you. Make your life a lot better today. Freedom Heating and Air. So it's so bad for Kate Brown and the Democrats in the polling, which apparently the inept Republicans cannot seem to use. It's so bad for them that Kate allows Oregon State troopers to be deputized by the federal government. And the left is using a tactic we talked about. A leftist is suing a right-winger who shot her with a paintball gun, suing civilly, not criminally. We talked about doing that to the leftists that assault people, that destroy property, because they're not being prosecuted. Although they might now, because Kate very quietly has allowed OSP troopers to arrest people for federal crimes going around the social justice warrior Multnomah County DA. That's how bad it is, folks. But do you see Republicans using this? No. They're virtually silent about it. No, they're talking about the touchy-feely things. More money for education, how important it is for jobs. You got to address health care. And according to the Coin 6 poll we talked about, the number one issue is the rioting. We're here to talk about why Republicans are not using the issues of the day is my friend Scott Roeder. Scott, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff.
All right. So you and I talked off air yesterday, and you think it's time for Bill Courier and the leadership of the Oregon Republican Party to resign. Why?
Oh, my God, Jeff. Well, it's long past time for him to resign. He's led two failed efforts to recall the governor. This last one, I don't know how a decent leader wouldn't take personal responsibility for this failure. Look, here's what happened. Misinformation was put out by members of his team 3 weeks ago that we already had 300,000 signatures. That caused all of the supposed 2,000 of us, of course you can't believe anything out of Bill Courier's mouth. Supposedly there were 2,000 of us gathering signatures. That caused many of them to slack off and not work as hard. We already had enough signatures. You yourself thought we had 400,000 signatures 3 weeks later. So I turned, and then on top of that, the order came to turn in our signature sheets 3 days early in Lane County on the 28th of the month, 4 days earlier than should have been in Lynn County, which further, and I don't know what it was in the rest of the counties, but I do know those two, which further exacerbated the problem. I personally didn't have any more signature sheets to collect signatures on, and the person I reported to, which I won't name, she didn't have any more signature sheets to give me. So the last Saturday, I didn't gather signatures. I thought it was in the bag. How easy would it have been for the 2,000 of us signature gatherers to gather 2 signatures apiece. In the 5 remaining days, we were supposedly 3,000 signatures short. So I say, every day I gathered 30 or 50 signatures. How easy it would have been for 2,000 people to get 2 more signatures apiece, Jeff. In the remaining days between the 26th of August and the 31st of August, which was the last day of the recall. Meanwhile, where was our illustrious chairman of the Oregon Republican Party? Oh, he was back in Washington, D.C., enjoying himself at the Republican convention, probably getting drunk.
Oh, now, come on, Scott. You don't know that.
Needless to say, Jeff, that doesn't matter whether he got drunk or he didn't. He was back in Washington, D.C. He should have been here overseeing, since he knew there weren't enough signatures, where the information came that we had 300,000 almost a month ago, where that came from. It was his team. He's the leader of the team, Jeff. He needs to resign. Needless to say, the failure of the recall announced on Monday, it only further emboldened our tyrannical state governor, and, in case you don't know it, Jeff, she made a new order Monday, the same day the recall failed. And guess what that order was, Jeff? Now Albertsons and Safeway will enforce the governor's insane scamdemic mandates. If you don't have a mask, you're not allowed in the store anymore. We can thank our inept chairman of the Oregon Republican Party for the failure that prompted that. Now
Okay.
try going into Safeway and Albertsons without a mask.
Well,
He needs to resign.
I guess I'm going to find out, because that's the only place left that I've been able to shop at that doesn't demand you wear a mask. All right. So the counterpoint to your argument that I'm going to argue with you about is, yeah, they failed. Yes, it emboldened Kate, but they had enormous success in that they got as many signatures as they did
Oh, my gosh.
for virtually no money. That was an incredible Herculean effort at the grassroots level. And if that doesn't encourage anybody, I don't know what would. That's not been done before, Scott. Don't you understand that?
It doesn't encourage me, Jeff. I'm not going to give another second of my time, which I gave plenty to, Jeff. Not, I actually was a signature gatherer. Every weekend I was out 3 hours on a Saturday morning when I have plenty of other things to do. I have a farm and an orchard. I got other things to do, jobs, a business. I gave my time. I believed in the cause. And you know what? If he didn't personally sabotage this in the remaining weeks, then his own ineptness and incompetence caused it to fail, because he should have been back here supervising the effort. Instead, he was in Washington, D.C., enjoying the RNC convention. Tell him to take a hike. He needs to resign. If he has an ounce of self-respect, he would.
All right. So already I've gotten calls from people this morning that say that you are doing the wrong thing and that you should focus on helping Republicans get elected at this point. How do you respond to that?
Well, I'm going to vote the way I vote, but I won't waste my time helping an inept Oregon Republican Party. And if you think you're going to elect Republicans with a stupid leadership like Bill Courier, you're out of your mind. You might as well wear a mask, and you'll be wearing a mask till the day you die.
All right, Scott. I don't think you're right about that. It's not that the leadership has been extremely good, because, I've been very critical, as I just was a few moments ago, in talking about these issues that are right in front of Republican candidates to use all across the state, and they are afraid to do it. Rioting in the unemployment department, fiasco. They won't use the issues. And the Oregon Republican Party has at least some culpability in that. But look, I still think they have achieved a monumental result, and it ought to encourage anybody that we could get enough signatures without. Look, and I'm a guy. I was part of a team that wasted almost $1 million on trying to get 2 initiatives on the ballot, and we barely missed them.
Well,
and it's $1 million, and now we're talking about maybe $40,000 is all they spent. to get 277,000 signatures. That's not a failure, Scott.
I'm sorry, Jeff. You can lose by 1 vote or you can lose by 1 million votes. You still lost. I'm not taking any solace in the fact they got 277,000 signatures. We've been betrayed. I don't care whether it was deliberate or not. He needs to resign. This Republican Party under his leadership is just about as inept as it's always been. We haven't had a decent Republican Party chairman since Bob Tiernan.
All right. That's Scott. Going to let you go, brother. That's Scott. That's what he thinks. What do you think, folks? Is it time for them to resign? 503-589-1220. That's the Power Buick GMC talk line. I want to know. 503-589-1220. Or you can send me an email at 1220.am. And speaking of emails, I got one. Actually, got a couple here that I wanted to read to you that I thought would be good for today. Anne Marie wrote me an email about, can it get worse? ? Yes, she writes. Now it's even worse than before it at the Oregon Unemployment Department. An Oregon woman receiving benefits was locked out of her Chase bank account recently, and it took a while to fix it. My question is, what would she have done if they hadn't been answering their phones to finally resolve the travesty? It's almost unbelievable. But then it is the Oregon way. And it's a KGW news story. Oh, there's more. And we'll get to it. Corby wants to weigh in on civil lawsuits, and Art has some thoughts about Scott. All of this when we come back. Don't go away.
No, that's not poverty.